Monday morning tap in. Monday morning tap in. Like I always do. Consistency is key. Repetition is the mother of all skills, or the father. As the title and the thumbnail suggests, black males, we must travel. Black males, we must travel. I seen a video. I've been seeing a few videos. But whenever I come across a video talking about international matters and it's a black male or black female talking about international matters and they never have traveled, they never, they're talking about it from a point where they never have traveled outside of the continental US. I think that they should not talk on those subject matters. I think that if their only source of information about international matters is either YouTube videos, social media, or mainstream media, I believe that they should not, they're not informed enough to discuss these matters. So I say that to say that these individuals, they need to travel, man. Because until you travel outside of the continental USA, you will have no knowledge. Hello, what's going on? I don't praise Jesus. Now, Jesus is a black man, but Jesus is also just a prophet. So, Jesus, if you are praising Jesus, Alisa McCauley, make sure he is a black man. You are praising a black man, and also understand that Jesus was just a man. He was not God himself. In the Bible, and a lot of you guys don't read the Bible, right? But Jesus is quoted saying, his own self, he is quoted saying, do not praise me, do not follow me. I'm paraphrasing. Follow he who sent me. Follow he who sent me. When he's dying on the cross, he's praying to God. He's asking God, why have you forsaken me? Why are you letting me go through this? Now, if that was God himself, wouldn't he know why he's going through those things? If that was God himself, wouldn't he know? Wouldn't he say, follow me, don't follow he who sent me? But that's not the topic of this video, of this live. Make sure you guys like as y'all come in and subscribe. YouTube is shadow banning me. They don't want this information to get out there. So show your support. Like, share, subscribe. Don't be a hater. It don't cost nothing. It doesn't cost nothing to like. It doesn't cost nothing to subscribe. Now, I'm talking over this music, but what I'm talking about is black males who have not traveled, black males and black females who have not left the continental United States of America are not at liberty to talk about international matters. Okay? So, what I suggest, until black males and black females actually leave this continental US and go to different places and not just rely on corporate run media, not just rely on other people's YouTube videos, not just rely on social media, you don't have the actual presentation of what these countries are experiencing. Take for example, There was a period when they were talking about Boko Haram or something in Nigeria was kidnapping all these people, holding them hostage and whatnot, and kidnapping girls, and it wasn't safe to go to Nigeria. Well, I went to Nigeria during that time. And when I went to Nigeria, I had no problems. I had no issues. Uh, I moved safe like I would move anywhere else, right? You don't just move recklessly anywhere, even in the United States. You shouldn't be walking around at night with, your jewelry and stuff like that. You have to move smartly. So when I was in these other countries, I moved with wisdom and knowledge, and that enabled me to stay safe in these countries. But what I'm saying is, until you travel, until you travel outside of the USA, you will believe what the corporate run media is saying. You will believe what is said on social media. You will believe what is said in other people's YouTube videos, and it's not the actual case. When you talk about, and a lot of brothers have been talking about this uh, turf war between China and this and that and other, right? And they saying how China oppresses its people, how China is rude and evil to its people. Hold on, y'all. I'm in the 7-Eleven doing my thing. Get 1 second, y'all. I'm gonna continue this conversation. No, I'm straight. Straight. 1 second. 1 second. So, y'all tapped in. I hope y'all tapped in with me. I hope y'all tapped in with me. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe as y'all come into the room. Can I get a power mega? Huh? Mega's $5. What are you talking about? Hold on.
Power $2. Power is $2. Mega is $5 each.
Why is that now?
I don't know. This is the April 1st. April 1st, 5 is the $5 mega.
Why?
$3 more. I don't know.
Okay. Let me get the mega. Let me get the one that's $2 still.
Yeah, Powerful is $2.
Yeah.
Super $1. Fantasy is $1.
Yeah. Power and the super. Yeah. Yeah. One of each. So they raised the price. They raised the price on. Huh?
They never in the app and the TV.
They raised the price of the
Yeah, it's $3 more.
$3 more. Yeah.
$3.
That's crazy. Thank you. All right. Yo, what's up, y'all? Tap in. Gotta try my luck, man. I gotta win this lottery, man. But black males, especially United States born black males, foundational black Americans, whatever you want to call yourself, we have to travel, man. Because until you travel, you will just traveling alone broadens your horizon. It broadens your knowledge. It opens you up to different cultures. It is educational in itself just to experience other places on this planet. And not only that, you get to see that a lot of the stuff that you're fed through corporate media, through social media, through YouTube, you get to see that a lot of this stuff is actually false. And another thing that you get to see is in that these countries that they label in corporate media and social media and other forms of media as, oh, don't go there, it's unsafe, it's this, that, and the other, you will find that those places are often, you will find that you will feel a lot more safer in those places than you do here in the United States of America, especially now. You don't have to worry about, in a lot of these countries, even Western countries, like if you go to the UK, you don't have to worry about mass shootings. Why? Because they don't allow the general population to own guns like they do here. You might have to worry about stabbings, but you don't have to worry about mass shootings, right? But you will find that when you go to some of these quote unquote third world countries, you feel a lot more safer overall. But corporate media will have you believing that these places are so dangerous. This is to keep you away from there because they don't want you to see the truth of this country, right? So when I see brothers online talking about this and that about China, but they never been to China, I think they should just shut up. I'm going to say it like that until they go there. Because I see some brothers talking about, oh, you should be happy to be in the United States. You should be happy that you're not in China because China oppresses its people and China does this to its people, and the people are working in factories and they're living in poverty, and this is, China does this. Well, guess what? The same thing is going on here. In certain parts of this country, it looks like a goddamn third world. You go here in Los Angeles to a place called Skid Row, you wouldn't know that you're still in America if this is your first time visiting America, right? So you can go to some of the ghettos in the South, in the deep South, and it look like a third world. So when that individual is making a misinformed comment like that exists everywhere. It's not just that. When you talk about that part of China, also knowing that there's very rich people in China. There's rich areas in China, just like there's rich areas here in the United States and there's poor areas here in the United States. The same thing exists in China and most other places in the world. It's not like all the Chinese people are in squalor and living as peasants and in poverty. That's a statement made out of in ignorance. You have to be ignorant to make that type of comment. And a lot of these individuals are ignorant because they don't travel. They never travel. And they've been pumped up about the greatness of the United States. But we know that there's a lot of things that are not great about the United States. So when they make that comment, it's out of ignorance. China's this, China's that, but they never been. And China, they have a lot of rich Chinese that are able, a lot of rich business Chinese men that aren't part of the government, that are sending their children, their sons and their daughters, to some of the best universities in the United States. Some of the best. I'm from the Bay Area. I'm from Oakland, California, and the top universities in that area are UC Berkeley, Stanford, and I think that's it. But when you go to those colleges, when you go to those universities, you'll see a whole bunch of Chinese nationals up there. And they're not getting scholarships. They're being funded by their parents. They're well-to-do parents who aren't even here in the United States. They're still in China. So I can only speak from my experience. When I went to China the first time was a layover. I was treated well. I think I had a day layover in Shanghai. I decided I didn't want to stay just around the airport, so I found a way. They gave me like a temporary visa. They let me go into into the city, and I walked around Shanghai, called a taxi, called an Uber. It was no problems. I didn't see I didn't see this oppression that they're talking about in Shanghai. When I went to another region, I didn't see this oppression. So all this stuff is just propaganda. And in addition to that, they talk about, well, the government censors their people. Yes, they want to censor their people. Why? Because they don't want they see what happens. They see what happened in the West, and they don't want that to happen to their people. So let's say, for example, like they censor certain social media sites. Like I think they censored Instagram, they censored Facebook. They censor these things because they see they're trying to prevent a decay in their civilization that has happened in the U.S. A decay has happened here. Morally, we are decadent. But China, who is a civilization thousands of years older than the U.S. and has went through many different dynasties and empires, we're still a baby. This nation is still over a little bit over 200 years old, right? But they don't want those things to happen in their country. So what they do, they censor to prevent. They're trying to. Now you can of course get through those sites through a VPN. Like that's what I did. I used a VPN, but it's still what they're trying to do is they're trying to prevent what they see happen in the West. And if that is working, I don't see any problem with it. I think not censorship in the sense of what was going on like in the past few years when you couldn't even speak against a certain narrative, but a censorship against certain bad behaviors. There's nothing wrong with that, right? I don't think when I talk about censorship, right, I'm talking about just in children's cartoons, right? There shouldn't be an LGBT messages secretly putting it in the children cartoons. That should not that type of censorship should happen here in the United States. There shouldn't be easy access to pornographic websites that children or teenagers can get into. That's the type of censorship that should be happening. There shouldn't be the allowance of certain people that live certain lifestyles to be influential to the children. That's the type of censorship that should happen in the US. And that's the type of censorship that happens in China. They're just trying to prevent those things that they see are bringing down the United States, bringing down the West from happening over there. But you wouldn't know that until you travel, right? And that's why it's very important for us, Black American males, foundational Black American males, to get that passport and travel. Get that passport. It's only right now a little bit over $200. And what you don't understand is travel is not that expensive. There's a whole bunch of deals that if you do your research, you can find online. When I started to travel, I found these great deals that enabled me to travel, and I had the freedom because I wasn't tied down to travel, but I traveled very inexpensively. I didn't spend thousands and thousands of dollars in my travels. So that's not necessary. But I want to say this. If you still want to know how it's done, I can provide that information to you. And I will be providing that information because I have written a book that I'm going to publish soon that you will be able to get on Amazon that will give you a step-by-step guide on how to travel low cost. And I will give you a step-by-step guide on what, some of the things that I did in my own experiences, you know. But it's very important for us to travel black male and black female so that we can get that, just broaden our horizons, see how life is outside of the continental USA. And the first time that I traveled to Africa, it was the first time in my entire existence when I went to Nigeria where I felt for the first time in my whole life that I wasn't being judged because I was black. Why? Because everybody's black over there. So that was the only time in my whole life that I felt that. It was a pressure that was released off my back instantly. Because here in the United States, you constantly walk around as a black male in anxiety and pressure. But to go to an all-black country, an all-black continent, and to be able to blend in because we're all black, it's a feeling that you have to get to experience, but you have to travel to experience that. So with that being said, may y'all have a great one today. I'm tapping in and tapping out. Peace. Like, share, and subscribe. Peace.